good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are watching us from. I'm your regular host on Connect with Comfort show. My name remains Comfort Eyitayo. On this program, we aim to add value to people on business, enterprise, and personal growth. Each show is organized to feature guests who are subject matter experts that helps us to throw more insight on the topic of the day. I am glad you are able to join us today. You are most welcome. Today's inspiring session is titled The Bold 1%. Yes, you heard me. The Bold 1%. Now, the phrase the bold 1% might sound exclusive, but it's not about wealth or privilege. It's about mindset, courage, and conviction. It's about that small fraction of people who dare to think differently, act decisively, and persist when the rest retreat. Every generation has its bold 1%. Those who refuse to be limited by fear or convention. They are the innovators who disrupt industries, the reformers who challenge systems, and quiet change makers who transforms communities through consistent action. In a world that often celebrates and rewards comfort, the bold 1% choose courage. When others see obstacles, they see opportunities. When others wait for the right time, they will choose to create the time themselves. Today's conversation challenges us to look inward and ask, what does it take to stand among the bold? How do we cultivate resilience, creativity, and boldness that define them? How, more importantly, how do we use that boldness not for self-glory, but for impact and transformation around us? So as we begin this conversation today, I would like to encourage us all to be stirred, to become part of that bold 1% who move the world forward. Once again, I'd like to thank you for joining us today. Please remain connected. We'll be right back after this short break. Thank you. You are welcome back. Our guest is already in the house, waiting patiently to be introduced to us. And our guest today is no other than Mr. Botex Nwaokenneyah, who is the Vice President, sales, partnership, and alliances, Educare alliances, Educare dynamic. He is a charismatic, result-driven person. Botex is a multi-talented professional whose career blends the art of influence with the science of sales. As Vice President of Sales, Partnership and Alliances at Educare, he brings a unique edge to corporate growth, combining strategic relationship building with deep market intelligence. A natural communicator and a seasoned compere, Botex has mastered the power of connection on stage, in strategy rooms, and across partnership that drive value and visibility. His leadership continues to position Educare as a trusted brand partner in the education and enterprise ecosystem. Please join me in making welcome our special guest for today, Mr. Botex Nwaokenneyah.
Good
You are
evening,
welcome.
everyone.
We thank you for making it out here and being willing to share your vast experience with our viewers. Thank you very much. You are most
Thank you
welcome.
so much. Thank you so much, Ma. It's a pleasure to
Oh,
be here, and I appreciate inviting me over. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with people who refuse to settle for average because the bold 1% are not defined by comfort in the real sense. So, these, the bold 1%, they are defined by conviction. That is why we are here to share thoughts together.
thank you very much. Actually, you just took that out of my mouth, trying to get you to make us understand the concept, what the phrase, the bold 1% mean or will mean to people, to you personally and other professional.
Okay, so when I think about the bold 1%, I see individuals, those who turn pressure into purpose, those who show up when others sit back, those who are not afraid of anything, those who understand that playing small doesn't serve anyone. And I think I learned that art of bold 1% through my CEO, Alex Onya. He's never afraid of anything. He takes the maximum risk ever. Although it took time for me to pick up, and become part of the bold 1%. But however, I would like to put it in a small sentence this way, that the bold 1% are those who refuse to be defined by circumstances. Now, something happened just yesterday. Oh, sorry, on Friday. We were in a fireside chat with some like-minded individuals. The fireside chat was hosted by Coach Apash. So someone mentioned something. This person is, in quote, is supposed to be like a second person in an organization. So she's practically the head of sales for that organization, and they're into hardwares devices, sales of hardware devices. So she said something. She said there were school leaders there. We have been practical. I have been making efforts, consulting, trying to reach these you leaders here. Most times I get objection. People turn me down. And in fact, the way the last one that affected her was one lady, an honorable, which was sitting right beside her there. So she was like complaining. that the woman says she's a school leader. No, 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 no. I don't want my students to touch hardware, their devices now at this point in life. It will expose them to so many ill vices. And she couldn't defend that. She accepted that. And because of that, she brought it to that fireside chat that she has been receiving this rejection when she tries to market, so to speak. So I think I responded to her. And that is where this topic today of bold 1% come in. Do you just say, well, I've tried, I've been rejected, you fold your hands and wait, or you turn to another channel? No, that is not the way. So I just took her back. Do you understand the art of sales, as it might sound, or art of marketing? What do you understand by that? It's not about convincing people. You don't just convince. You meet somebody, stranger today, and you're trying to convince, I'm selling this. If you meet me that way, I will just look at you. I'll try to evaluate you first, understand what are you, who are you, what are you capable of. So I try to let her know that that sales is more than persuasion. It's not just about convincing people sell sales. You don't sell in modern approach to sales. So it is the art of understanding people and aligning value with need. So try to connect with what those people care about. From there, of course, once the connection is established, we can now, rapport. You'll be interested to know me more and know what I do. So that's it about
That is a
explaining
very good
what goes on
example.
it.
Very, very good example. Thank you very much for that. That's a practical demonstration of it. So, with that said, would you say being part of the bold 1% is about wealth, mindset, impact, or something else entirely, given what you have just explained? Did you get that question? Botex, I think his network is frozen. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Botex? Okay, I guess he's having a network challenge. He has just explained to us that being part of those that we can call bold 1% are those who dare to be different, who dares to be different, those who do not take no for an answer. They are always the go-getter, the courageous one. They are not risk averse, so they are willing to try, not just cowed by their fear. So those are the bold 1%. They do not wait for a perfect condition or moment before making a move. And that's what that is teaching us, that there's no perfect time for what that venture that you want to undertake, for that giant step that you want to undertake. More so that we are coming into the era where people start making New Year resolution. You do not really have to wait till 1st of January before you make that move. Boldness is not recklessness. It is informed risk taking grounded in purpose. If you have a purpose and you have a vision to achieve, with your courage, you have that boldness to achieve your desire and overcome other obstacles that may come your way. Then the other things, because while waiting for our guest, okay, thank God he's
Sincere,
back.
sincere apologies. I don't know what took over the
I
internet.
understand we
Yeah.
are in the era of technology. We take the good and the bad and the ugly with it. So it's understandable. It's understandable. I've just expounded what you just told us about
Okay.
the boldness and courage for those bold 1%. And the question I will ask following that is that, can boldness be learned, or is it an innate trait that only a few possess? Do we have to learn it, or is it something within us?
Absolutely. I would say that boldness grows through exposure. It can grow through mentorship and small acts of courage that compound into confidence. It's just like a father having a son, and the father is a courageous man. So if the son is always with the father every day and see how he handles things, how he faces his fears, the son will grow to become a courageous person too. So, yes, it can be learned. It grows through exposure. When we align with people of like-minded, the people we also identify as bold 1%.
That is very good. So that means we also must be within the right cycle that aligns with
Exactly.
our vision for us to
Exactly.
learn.
Exactly.
So we have mentors that we can look up to, and then through their mentorship, we also can be like them, or even a better a better version of them. That is
Exactly. And just to add
very
something
good.
again, man.
Yeah,
So if
sure.
you remember when I started, I began by mentioning who taught me or who grew me, or rather who influenced this boldness in
Yeah.
me. My CEO,
Mm,
Alex Onya, who takes
yeah.
maximum, who takes maximum risk. He doesn't believe that you can make it in life without risks, zero risk. So I actually learned it through him.
That is good. I think it's just giving credence to the saying that no venture, no gain. So
That's it.
if you don't if you don't take risk, you are not likely to move forward. Although it must be a
Exactly.
calculated risk, so that you don't get
Exactly.
your fingers burned. Mm.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's a good one. Okay. So with that said, what kind of thinking or habits separates those who dare to lead, innovate, or break barriers from those who simply follow?
Um, I would say first of all, boldness is about mindset. Um, Impact might now follow. So you need to condition your mind first. Like I still recall initially when I came in contact with I call him a mentor. I was afraid of taking risk at that particular time. So I had to condition my mind first to say I'm ready to take risk. And that was when the impact now followed. The impact of what I've seen him do now came in after that mindset, conditioning my mindset first. And then wealth came in also. It's part of it because to a certain level, for example, let me even relate this to my work. So I'm into the business of solving problems. Although people call me a salesman, I do sell software as a service also. But then I like to sell from the angle of problems, needs. And so I have to identify a problem first before I can connect you to the service which I render. And so how much do I show up? When odds doesn't align in my favor, and that is still going back to that taking risk. So I conditioned my mind. I got the impact, and this moved me to grow. And over time, I was able to, in terms of finances too, because in Igbo language, there is an adage that says, "Akonesio biike." What that means is strength, fortifies the mind. So I would say these things impact, first of all, mindset, impact, and then wealth. All of them contribute to being bold or among the bold 1%.
Wonderful. So mindset is key
It's
in
key.
all actions that we need to take. But how can you explain the part of fear? Because we are all human beings. We are susceptible to fear. Some people face their fears. Some people they run away from their fears. So how can fear or failure be a kind of uncertainty that we need to surmount to be transformed into fuel our boldness?
All right. So, first of all, you don't run away from fear, and neither can you overcome or say you have win or you have eliminated fear. You can't eliminate fear. That's for certain, right? Uh, if you can see fear as data, once you can see fear as data, it shows you where growth lives, right? There is a saying that says, at the end of every tunnel, there is light. Why? Tunnels are seen to be dark, and then at the end is light, which portrays success, so to speak. So, fear, the moment you start seeing fear as data, it will show you where growth lives. So fear is an amplifier, or when you convert it and see it as data, it will help you to succeed, so to speak. So the bold 1%, if you're among the bold 1%, you don't eliminate fear. You can only move through it with clarity and purpose. So you need to have clarity and you need to move with purpose. In
Purpose.
that way, you will overcome fear, or you convert fear as data and see it as growth.
Fantastic, fantastic. That's a good one to note. How can boldness be balanced with wisdom so that being bold doesn't become being reckless? Because sometimes they ask somebody what's it with this one that just feels it can do anything and it's like charging on like that. So where do you apply wisdom so that boldness does not become recklessness?
Hmm. That's interesting. Why I'm smiling is few hours ago I made a post on LinkedIn, and the caption I gave it is you need to be on motion. You need, whatever you are thinking, if you conceive an idea, you need to start now. Start small and start now. And in starting, what this means is if you are being on motion, you need to have a direction, right? So boldness without wisdom is seen as noise.
Mm,
So you need to have wisdom in order to align the boldness to make it uh,
balance.
fruitful, so to speak, balance exactly. So wisdom on its part gives direction, while boldness gives motion. So you need both of them for sustainable impact.
Fantastic. Boldness without wisdom is just noise.
It's just
That's a
noise.
new that's a new word I've learned today. Thank you very much. So what role does boldness play in effective leadership today?
Boldness plays a very good role. Leadership is not just about titles, it's about courage to act.
Yeah.
As a leader, You need to have that courage to be able to decide. You need to have that courage to be able to delegate, trust someone to delegate. And you need to also have that courage in order to disrupt what is no longer working. So I recall many years ago, I think the early years I joined my team at Educare. So we are trying, we'll have meetings, the marketing and the sales team will come together, we'll have meetings, and then everybody will just be suggesting, let's try this approach, let's try this approach, let's try this approach. We tried. In fact, one of the approaches that we tried, which one I remember now, I laugh. It's doing what we call leg. I don't know. I'm trying to remember the word, the name we gave it. But what it means is door-to-door marketing, walking, so to speak. We gave it a name there, you know.
Yes,
So I
go
sell
and knock
software.
at.
Yes, you just go to somebody you don't know. You want to sell to the person, which now takes me to that correction I made. I gave that lady yesterday or 2 days ago at the fire chat. So it's a lot of sales that I have not mastered there. So for there, we were trying to explore what works. So everybody comes as the head of sales, you bring suggestion. I say, let's try it. Let's explore. All I want is growth. You want to grow. So we keep trying. We tried that one. I remember one experience. We went to a school in Lekki, getting at the gates. I felt I'm bold. I speak. I can talk to anybody and get into the office. So this security man came out. We started speaking English. I told the security man I'm looking for the principal of the school. And the security man intentionally asked me, do you have a meeting? Do you have an appointment with him? So because he mentioned him, I took him to be, to be a man, the principal. But he intentionally did that. Do you have an appointment with him? Do you have his contact? I said, no, I don't have an appointment. He said, okay, do you have his number? You can call him. I told him, oh no, I don't have his contact, but I want to meet with him. Please. So he now said, okay, what do you want? Do you have like a proposal, anything you want to give to him? I said, yes. I gave him, he collected it. And I asked him, please, can I get a contact so that I can do like a follow-up, to know if there are questions. And the guy just told me, do you have your contact? I said, yes, it's in the proposal. He said, just go. Then he will call you. Once he sees the proposal, he will call you. And we left. Wasted time, wasted resources, they never called. But I'm happy today. That school has been an Educare partner school for many years. So many years after, through another means, we were able to get that same school. So what happened there? The principal, as at then, was actually a woman. The security just said, do you know him? So I took it to be him. So when he saw I responded, I don't know him. Please, I want to see him. So the security knew I don't even have any business with him, with her at all. So that was me doing random sales. And that was me not taking up leadership role as it might be. That was me not being bold to play my leadership status as of then, accepting anything that comes from the team. But today, I can tell you that if somebody gives me such an advice from my team, I won't. I'll just accept, commend them, go and use the one I want to use, and then leave the rest for them. So that the boldness over time taught me to say no to what that is no longer working, which is what that's the stuff I mentioned about working this method of marketing. So I said no. I was able to say no to the team. Let's stop this form of marketing. It is not useful to us. Let's stop it. And I took that decision, and that decision brought us success to where we are today. And then delegating also, I'm able to delegate today. I stay in Lagos and I operate everywhere. We have schools in uh, um, Iraq. We have schools in Sofia, Bulgaria. We have schools in so many African countries. We also have all over Nigeria, all the top tier schools we have in Nigeria. And most of these places, I have not visited them. So I do all these things from my location in Lagos. I'm able to delegate. I'm able to work with a team, and I'm able to take that leadership position to close deal, and which has brought me where I am today. So, in a summary, boldness plays a very good role in leadership. I don't see leadership as title. I see it as having the courage to make a decision, having the courage to delegate, and having the courage to say no that to things that doesn't work for the best of our team. I don't know if you can hear me, ma'am. Aha, I can
I
hear
can
you
hear
now.
you. Can you hear me?
Very good. Yes, ma'am. It seems you changed device.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
Very good.
yes, I did. I did. The battery was running down on the other one.
All right.
Okay. So that is a very good one. So I was going to ask a follow-up question. How do the bold 1% influence system, industries, or communities for the better? We've heard about their traits and what they do and who they are. How do they influence the community for the better?
Okay. So I would say they influence the system or the community for better by taking large steps, unimaginable steps. Now, if I can do an example of local example of the board who have taken this step to influence others, I think Flutter Waves comes to my mind, or
Okay.
Paystack also. Flutterwave and Paystack, they've done unimaginable things. They have redefined African's fintech space because they're dead, they started early, they're dead early, so to speak. And then looking at the global one, who comes to mind is Elon Musk. Why? Elon Musk, he doesn't just make noise. Probably some people see him as a noisemaker. He doesn't just make noise. I think what I like him for, or why I use him as an example here for global standard example of a bold 1%, is for his audacity to dream and do repeatedly. He keeps doing things. Do we mention about the Twitter purchase? Do we mention about the Tesla phones? Do we mention about the Tesla? It's I can't really mention all that he's doing, but then his
Mm.
audacity, you know, to live up to his dream and continue to do big things repeatedly. These are examples and good influences that if you look up to, you want to take up that challenge and join the bold 1%.
That is that is very good. You've actually given us the example. I was going to ask for that. But how can emerging leaders cultivate the spirit of boldness in teams or organizations that fear change?
Okay. So how they can cultivate boldness to teams that fears change.
Mhm.
This is where decision making comes in as a leader. You need to have that courage to decide. Even though your team are afraid of change, how it will affect them, you need to be that bold 1% who has courage to take up that decision. I take, for example, in schools, some schools that are not tech savvy, When the school
mm,
owner or the school administrator comes in contact to probably ERP system to automate processes in school, most times people in departments, for example, the finance department, they always try to object. They always try to frustrate that effort because they believe it to take up or take over their job. But then having proper understanding will help you to embrace change if you're a team member. Then for the leader of the team, having courage to decide, to take decisions, that's another thing that will help you to take up that bold step in terms of having where you have a team who are afraid for changes. I don't know if I'm able to
definitely,
respond to you.
definitely. That explains it. And it's just for us to be, in fact what we have said earlier about facing our fears is something that comes readily to mind in this on this particular question, because the fear of the unknown, those who are fearing that perhaps it will take their job, like many people fear the advent of technology taking all jobs and things like that. But we know better now. It's just for us to uh, imbibe the knowledge and find how it aligns with our vision, use it as tools to enhance our performance and all that. So I think it's more of facing one's fear, and it's lack of knowledge that makes people to
Yes,
fear the unknown more, because you don't know what it is. So you now hold it in awe instead of finding out more about it.
yes.
Fantastic.
Sorry, just to add to what you just mentioned, I appreciate what
Mhm.
the part you just mentioned now. A
Mm,
lot of people do fear that technology will take up their job, but no,
yeah.
it will not. It will never. It helps my job.
Mm,
Me talking here, technology helps my job. It helps my processes to be very easy. Look at me now. I'm out of town, but I'm still doing my job. Everything with the
yeah.
help of technology. I'm able to
Yeah.
do my work seamlessly, even without anybody in the organization noticing where I am as I speak. So it's an enabler. That's what technology is.
Mm,
It's not taking
yes,
anyone's job. And
definitely.
like you mentioned, fear, until we start seeing fear as data, or rather, growth, growth, that's when we will absorb it and become successful.
Fantastic. We should look at fear with the growth mindset.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
with the growth mindset, that is good. Now, we've been talking about the bold 1%, bold 1%. How do this bold 1% or the bold few avoid what you call becoming arrogant or disconnected from the larger society, because they feel they are special, they have what others don't have? How do you avoid that kind of becoming that arrogant?
So I would take, I think my mindset as part of Bold 1%, my
Mm,
mindset in succeeding, not becoming arrogant, I
mm,
get it from the scriptures, God's word, which says that pride is before a fall. I don't want to
yes.
fall. I'm still learning, I'm still growing, I'm still growing. So for me to continue succeeding and to learn and continue learning and continue being part of the Bold 1%, humility plays a vital part in my life. I don't have the attitude of I know it all. I when I meet people first time, I always like to give them time, listen to them very well, hear them speak, because I know I should be able to learn one thing at least or more from them. So
Okay.
pride is before a fall. So the bold 1%, being courageous doesn't mean you have to um, start seeing people as inferior to you. No, it means having courage to make the right decision, taking certain decision when it's time to make decision. It means knowing when it's not my job, it's not my call. Delegate this thing. You can't do everything. So these are the things that helps the bold 1% to maintain the relationship with people and not turning it into a rigid or arrogant, frictional relationship, so to speak.
That's a very good one, especially hinging it on the Bible passage. Pride goes before a fall. Nobody wants to fall. I just hope that some people will take hints of that lesson. Now, what ethical boundaries, if there are, must both individuals respect while pursuing extraordinary impact or success? Are there ethical boundaries?
Yes, I think in every uh, professional, any industry, they should have ethical boundaries, so to speak. So I mentioned something earlier, doing what doesn't belong to me, you know, like do it all. Am I the type of leader that likes doing it all so that I will get the glory at the end of it all? In fact, in my team, when we succeed to acquire new customers, raise the revenue, whenever the talk comes my way that Mr. Botex has made us prize, he was able to do this in this quarter, I stand up and I dedicate it to my team. Without them, we cannot achieve this, right? I am able to function because I have a functional team, those who understand what is expected of them. So I think that is the boundary that we need to step in, or rather, we need to observe and acknowledge, not doing things out of my jurisdiction. I cannot do it all. So I need to learn how to always delegate in order for things to move seamlessly as outlined. There may be any other ones, but this is what comes to mind.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic answer because, like you said, not taking accolades for yourselves alone, acknowledging others' contribution is very key. It's very key. It's part of ethics because you know definitely you have not done this alone, but because you are the head, you get praised for it. And some people can comfortably just take the accolade and take a bow like they say, but without having to acknowledge others' contribution, which can really cause problem later because they can feel neglected. And in terms of ethics, ethics is just about doing the right thing, doing what is good. So when you acknowledge others' contribution, you are doing what is ethical, what is good. So I think in that regard, it really answers that question. Let me just take this last one because I believe it's important. Does being part of the bold 1% come with a moral or social responsibility to uplift others? Do you feel compelled because you see yourself as part of the bold 1% to now have to uplift others?
Sure. Yes. I think I owe it to anybody around me, anyone around me, especially my immediate team or people. I do mentor people around. You know, when I come in contact people, I speak with people, I speak to people. They always like to maintain the relationship. So I think yes, it is good to influence. It is good to mentor people. If I don't do it, the people around me will not be bold. They won't have courage to do things. When I bring up ideas, they will turn it down. Remember, when I started initially, I'm taking it back to the person who influenced me to join the bold 1%. Alex Onya, he takes risks. He does the impossible. He will just come and say things during the team meeting. And I will be like, people will be saying no, no, no. But I won't say no. I'll just be thinking, later I'll call him. How do you think this will be possible? He said, this is the problem. I will sideline you if you keep asking me this kind of question. So when he threatened me like that, I
That
decided
is
to
good.
adjust my mindset. Let me stop being a doubter. Let me start being a realistic person. Let me start seeing things objectively. And that is where, you see how he influenced me? I adjusted my mindset. And then the next step, I took up the next step. And today I'm here. If you bring a business and say this business is worth
That is good.
220 billion, I won't shout. I won't be scared. I'll just come. Let's discuss everything about the details of this business. I'll critically tell you, things maybe you don't see. So this is how he has done it to me. And I owe people around me to also influence them to become part of Bold 1%. So yes, morally, yes, we owe it to people to help them to become to join the Bold 1%.
That is very good. And even from the perspective that, as they say, you have not succeeded without a successor. So if you are not
Exactly.
mentoring others to become part of the bold 1%, you cannot actually say you have succeeded. Like
That is it.
your boss that you have mentioned several times on this show, it's because of the impact he has had on you that you are able to continue to mention him and how he has shaped your own life and impacted you positively. Now he has succeeded because he has been able to create a newer, if not better, version of himself, and that will go in multiple, because you also have your own mentees, just like you are a mentee to him. So it is necessary for us socially, morally, to make sure that we look out for others to also sharpen their skills to become what we have become or what we are aspiring to do. So it's a worthwhile thing, and it is just right morally to do so. So I know usually on this show we'll continue to enjoy ourselves with where we have good guests such as yourself, and we lose sight of time. But time we just have to be mindful of. The time flies when they say the time flies when you are having fun. I believe
Yeah.
we have really had fun while we are learning. We are sharing experiences. Thank you very much. You have done wonderfully well. You have
Thank you,
shared
man.
a great insight on this topic. I know when some people see the bold 1%, they'll be wondering what is this about. But I know they know better now. And the lesson there is for us to use what applies to us, what applies to our businesses. So I want to appreciate you highly. While we were on the show, we had some people join us. Those I was able to pick their name, I'll quickly mention them. I'm sure there are others I could not pick their name because the way I was concentrating on my question. Nonetheless, we appreciate them. Ibukun Ibukun joined us from Lagos. Thank you very much. He was one of the early callers. Our regular follower, Taiwo Ojo, streaming from Abuja, also joined. Somebody joined from Boston, Massachusetts. I think I wrote down the name. Maybe me there. Okay. Chidi Annie.
Chidi. Chidiani.
Okay, it's your friend?
Yes, yes. My
Okay,
friend in the
okay,
US, yes.
okay. Join from Boston. Thank you very much, Chidi. So since you are Botex friend, you are also my friend. Thank you for joining the
Definitely.
show. I hope you have learned one or two things this evening. And we thank you for supporting your friend who has done us very well and we are very proud of him. Thank you all for joining. So once again, I want to appreciate you, Botex. I just like to quickly conclude because my eyes is constantly on the time, and you know it's a 1 hour show. We have to keep it very timely. So as we bring this session to a close, one truth stands tall: the world is not moved by many who conform, but by the few who dares. And our guests today have stated that very clearly. The bold 1% are not necessarily the smartest, the richest, or the loudest. They are simply those who choose courage over comfort, conviction over convenience, and consistency over complacency. They are the ones who dream beyond limitations, act when others hesitate, and keep standing even after falling. They challenge the ordinary, redefine what is possible, and remind the rest of us that boldness is not arrogance, it is faith in motion. So today we've seen that being among the bold 1% is not about privilege, it's about perspective, it's a daily choice to think differently, to show up intentionally, and to lead courageously no matter your field or circumstance. So as you live here, I urge you to be bold in your ideas, be bold in your integrity, be bold in your impact, because the future doesn't belong to the timid majority. It belongs to the bold 1% who dare to shape it. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for joining this interesting session. And I also like to appreciate once again our guest for today's show, special guest, Botex, for doing us proud and for sharing his vast wealth of experience on this topic. I hope we have all enjoyed today's episode. If so, please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Comfort Eyitayo. And once you have done that, please hit the notification button, turn off, like and share our videos. Stay updated with information about upcoming events, solutions, and offers on my Instagram account at Comfort Eyitayo, as well as my Facebook account at Comfort Eyitayo. Till I come your way again, let us belong to the 1% that. Are you raising your hand, Botex?
Yes, yes. So I remembered conclusively, I didn't give like a practical step that one can take to
Okay,
join the bold 1%. So very quickly, I just want to
please do
break it
that.
down in a few words. You have to first of all define your why. Why are you doubtful? Why are you always doubting? Can this ever work? Secondly, I would say start small, but start now. Too much
Now,
procrastination will lead you nowhere. Surround yourself, thirdly, surround yourself with doers and not doubters, those who doubt. And finally, be willing to look foolish before you look successful. With these four things, you should be able to join the bold 1%. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. That's a good way to wrap up the session. Be willing to be foolish, to look foolish before
You look successful.
looking successful. That is that is good. That is good. So I hope all our viewers are listening, and that's those 4 tips are things that we should imbibe. The time to be bold, to be courageous is now. Do not procrastinate. Take the bull by the horn, face your fears, and action whatever it is in your mind right now. No more fear of failing or failure. In fact, we have been told several times failure is not a failure as such, it's actually lessons learned to perfect other things that we are doing. So see it as an experience to gain. When you say you fail, it's not just the failure on its own, but you have learned something. Thank you very much, Botex, once again, for coming in quickly to wrap up the show. We are at the tail end of it. We thank all the viewers. We appreciate you all, and hope to see you next week with another interesting edition. And Botex, don't be far away. So if you call again, don't take us as Oliver Twist, because we enjoyed the session with you. Thank
Always
you
happy
very much.
to be here. Thank you, ma. Thank you for
Thank
the
you. Thank you.